lockdown's coming with the new variant, all of the hype behind it, and then all of this federal spending on equipment like they did the previous lockdown. We're Welcome back to another episode of Brutally Honest with your host, me, Nikko Ortiz. If I told you there was going to be another COVID lockdown, would you believe me? And if you believed me, would you comply? Because on today's topics of Brutally Honest, we're going to be talking about the new COVID variant, BA.2.86, and how with all the hype behind it, some experts are saying that this could be an indicator for another COVID lockdown. But would we be as mad as some of the Hawaiian residents? For those of you who don't know, or if you've been watching the news at all, Maui was absolutely devastated due to some of the fires. But people are starting to argue, who started the fires? Where did they come from? Now, some people are saying it's Hawaii Electrical, and then some people are saying that it was the firefighters. Hawaii Electrical is saying that it's the firefighters, but we are going to find out. And to spice it up even a little bit more, do you guys remember the soldier who willfully ran across into North Korea? Because North Korea has finally issued a public statement on how he's doing. And how do you feel about your weight? Because if you're planning on flying anytime soon, it could be a very self-conscious experience because some people may be getting weighed. And by not some people, I mean all people boarding some airlines will be getting weighed before every single flight. And who's to say the airliner industry won't do this for every single flight? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? We're going to talk about all of that right now on the Brutally Honest podcast. So it hasn't been spoken about a lot, but if you're looking actively at the news, you'll see that a lot of news stations are very much so hyping up this new COVID variant. Kind of like how they did in the beginning, how it was kind of like nothing and then just boom, it was a big thing. Right now, we're reading health authorities and scientists say there are now racing to study BA.2.86, a new strain of the virus that causes COVID-19 after a highly mutated variant was spotted spreading in multiple countries around the world and at least 3 different U.S. states. For now, officials say they remain well-equipped to deal with the strain if it continues to spread. Early assessments suggest current treatments and tests, as well as upcoming vaccinations and boosters to be rolled out within the next month. Why? Why are we already coming out with a bunch of new vaccines? There is no literal way. It would be absolutely crazy if people start going out and about to get these new vaccinations. Are we not aware of all the crazy blood clots, all the crazy sicknesses, illnesses people are getting who were all vaccinated? I'm one of them. I did not want to get vaccinated, but I had to due to work. Possibility of losing my job if I did not. So I went and I got vaccinated. Long and behold, like I said last year, got a blood clot. I'm not getting no new shit. And I do not want to go back to wearing masks again either. Like I'm so good off of that. Let me know down below in the comments if you're going to go back to wearing a mask. Because in case you guys forgot, they already stated that masks do not work. They don't actually stop it. It's just some type of safety and security. It's just there to actually make you feel good. And I'm like, okay, no, thank you. Because you got these articles here from CNN being like, be ready to bust out that N95 mask, kind of freaking people out. And then you got other articles being like, oh, here's everything you need to know about this brand new virus, this brand new COVID virus that is just dropping everybody. And it's like, no, it's not dropping everybody, but we get where you're going with this, buddy. Then you got the conspiracy theorists, the people who are fortune tellers. You got like Alex Jones being like, oh, another lockdown's even coming too. And I'm like, hold the f on. Did he just say it's coming? Because if it's coming, it's coming. So it's got me stressed out. But you want to know what stresses me out the most? The fact that if there is another lockdown coming, they're going to tell us to put all of our masks on. But do you guys know what's been going on with the masks, the N95 masks and all of the other facial coverings? Because there were studies done that are saying that there was a certain amount of toxins in each one of the masks, right? Just because it has a little bit of plastic on it, it's got some fabrics on there, it's got those phthalates and everything, you know, stuff that's been closely studied and has been related to cancer. But then a lot of people are like, oh, well, the mask, you know, it doesn't have that many phthalates and all those toxins and all these things that might hurt you. Well, guess what? There were new studies that came out, and they found out a lot of these new masks that are coming out have 2 to 8 times more toxins. What the f changed in the production process? Because this is where it's going to get super conspiracy theory for me. I'm like, if they know everybody's already freaked out from the blood clots from the previous COVID variants and all that stuff, and nobody wants to get the jab again, nobody's going to. But they are going to wear masks, right? Because it makes a lot of people feel safe. Masks are the second step. They're the second part of like all this How do these masks magically have more toxins in them now? They're like, okay, well, people won't get the jab, but they are going to wear this mask. So let's throw some more shit in here. Let's make these masks a little bit different way to where shit just gets a little bit more toxic. Me saying that that's a plan is just me, right? But the fact that there's toxin in it, that is factual. But people are coming up with new ways of fighting this. And so for those of you who do want to wear a mask, it brings you comfort. There is nothing that I can say that will make you not wear a mask. I do have something that, I think if you want, meets in the middle. Scientists are saying there are ways to reduce this danger. They said exposure can be significantly reduced if a mask is opened and left to sit for at least 30 minutes. So for those of you in the future who are going to go about wearing your masks and everything, you think you're in a safe area? Bro, let that air out. Let it air out, please. Wearing these masks raises the risk of stillbirths, dysfunction, and cognitive decline, especially cognitive decline in children. And then with the sad little sprinkle on top, little to no difference in COVID infections and deaths. And you know what I've always been curious about? Dude, you know what, chat? I need a resolution because this is not starting to work. For those of you who can't see, I'm starting to like karate chop my microphone because it's in my way because I like to flail my hands around and like that. I'm thinking I gotta like arch this thing up and like pull it over my face because I'd be fighting up in this bit. Moving on, let me know down below in the comments if another lockdown does happen, will you all comply or are you guys like fighting the system? I need to know. Me, I'm fighting the system. I'm going where the f I want, when I want, unless it's on an airplane because we all know that's about to get shut the f down. Airport, you ain't going nowhere. I ain't wearing a mask nowhere. I'm not doing it. And if you think I'm a menace for saying that and doing that, you're right. Don't f around with me. I'm not playing these games, Mr. Government. Okay? None of us are. Hide your kids, hide your wife, COVID coming. We all here, we all like, how it gonna get worse? Oh my God, it's gonna get worse. I'm done talking about viruses and COVID and all that. Instead, let's talk about something a little hot, a little spicy. Let's talk about some fires, okay? If you've been watching the news, then you know about the devastating fires in Hawaii on the island of Maui, okay? Lots of information is still trying to make way. We're trying to figure out what exactly happened. And a lot of people right now are fighting on how did these fires actually happen. A lot of people are still arguing like, oh, how did it not get contained so fast? I think that's something that's going to have to come out in the future. But right now, they're like, where did this start? And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it's these electrical poles in Hawaii that were supposed to be shut off. And Hawaii's like, no, they were off. And then Hawaii Electric, I guess that's just the name we're going with for now until, these deeper claims come out. They're saying that the fire department's out there, and they're not saying exactly which fire department, but due to some neglect on behalf of the fire department, that is how the fire started. And because of that, right here in the statement, we have Hawaii's electrical utility acknowledged its power lines started a wildfire on Maui. So they're admitting that their power lines started it. But for those of you who don't know, there's other articles coming out saying that Maui's making the statement, oh, the power lines were off. It didn't. Well, right here, what we're reading is that they said, yes, it started, but that it faulted the county firefighters for declaring the blaze contained and leaving the scene only to have a second wildfire break out nearby and become the deadliest in the United States in more than a century. For me, that kind of sounds like a way of like, hey, let's not blame anybody. Like, let's just let this like slide by, okay? And here's another crazy thing too. Ain't nobody gonna come for the firefighters, bro. Y'all love firefighters, dude. All my cops right now, lightweight, super lightweight, they light. The firefighter, no, shout out to all the firefighters. Y'all be doing motherfucking work. It is not easy and fires are super scary. Okay, if you guys have never been super close to a fire or anywhere near a fire, they move fast and they burn you. They're terrifying. They're huge. And the way that the statements are lined up, I really don't like how it's perfectly like, oh, the electrical company admitted their fault. The fire department did their part, stopped the fire, declared it contained, and then a second one, just Houdini-ass fire started, and it just everything up. Like, holy shit. Nah, someone's got to pay for this. But the real question is who? Because right now it sounds like nobody's at fault. And if another wildfire broke out does that mean it broke out from a power line? Like, how did that fire start? I think we're all kind of asking the same questions. These two parties are basically duking it out. And then Hawaii Electric Company released a statement Sunday night in the response to the Maui County's lawsuit, blaming the utility for failing to shut off power despite the exceptionally high winds and dry conditions. So Hawaiian Electric called the complaint factually and legally irresponsible and said its power lines in West Maui have been de-energized for more than 6 hours and that the second when the second blaze started. So like, that's all like super interesting. The lawsuit, trying to figure out who started the fire and all this shit. You know what I'm actually pissed off about? I'm pissed off about our response. The United States response to like, hey, let's give every family $700 so they can all recover from these fires. What the Everybody gets $700? The Department of Defense said it has provided $12.1 billion in security assistance to Kiev since the start of 2023. On Monday, August 14th, it announced the latest $200 million package, including Patriot air defense systems and HIMARS munitions. We literally just announced the $12.1 billion with the, on top of that, $200 million package. And on the same day we said that, the president announced the one-off payment for survivors of Maui. On the same day, that's disrespectful as we're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance to one-time $700 payments per household, offering relief during an unimaginable difficult time. Are you stupid, you dumb? You are the president of the United States. Do you not have some form of compassion for your own people? I really think he's dirty. I think Biden is a dirty, nasty son of a, and I don't like him. If you guys do like him, guess what? That's okay. That's totally fine. Here, I'm brutally honest. You are totally entitled to your opinions. But the fact that he's giving away billions and then additional millions to people and then giving these people like I don't care if your house wasn't burned down, bro. They're going to get you back on taxes, okay? But they should be giving you more than $700 in aid. All of that money, we could fix everything that just happened to all of these people, everybody who lost their homes, in like 2 months. You can get crews out there, you can get shit paid for, and people can kind of get the help that they need, okay? Because you can't fix everything. There's a lot of devastating loss that was involved with all of that. But I think that's such a spit in the face of the American people. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments, because to me, that is 100% up. And by the way, when he showed up, the people of Hawaii literally were just flipping him off. They're like, hey, listen, you piece of shit.
Wow, he's finally here. Wow, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for nothing. You.
Why did he even show up? What are you going to do? Go do something else. Go like launder more money or something, okay? We're so good. Acres and acres and acres of land have been burned. It's going to cost billions of dollars to fix all of this. So we can kind of pull the plug on some of those funds from Ukraine and kind of help our own people out, please. But that's just my opinion on that matter. So a few weeks ago, I'm brutally honest, we talked about Private Travis King, the soldier who willfully walked across the border into North Korea. And guess what? North Korea has finally issued a statement. And I'm going to basically read, it's a very short statement. I'm going to read all of it so you guys can get as much information as possible. As we know, they don't speak to us very much. They're not probably going to talk about this very much at all. And we'll have to wait a couple more weeks for some more information to come about. North Korea on Wednesday offered its first official confirmation that it had detained U.S. soldier who bolted into the country last month. Now, with this, they released a video giving some brief segments of what the soldier said, what the soldier was talking about, why he did it. Long story short, saying that he was basically an outcast, he was facing hardship, he was facing racism, he was facing all these negative things. And so experts who actually reviewed the video, they're calling it 100% North Korean propaganda. Dude, homeboy ran over there for a reason, and we have no idea why, whether he had a screw loose or it was his own personal issues. You know, we did talk about him losing some possible family members and stuff like that, and how it kind of changed him. Sure, he has his own reasons, and a lot of it is propaganda, but I would be a fool to say that it's all 100% confirmed propaganda. Maybe he did state some of these things. I'm sure he's not trying to get his head chopped off, so he's going to give them information. So it could be factual. Who knows? Let me know down below in the comments if you guys think he really did run over there because he was facing those issues, or if you think North Korea put that statement out because it is propaganda. It's not true. I don't think it's all 100% North Korean propaganda. To say something is 100% is that, yeah, I don't like that. And so to finish it all off, we have right here the official Korean Central News Agency citing an exact quote from King stating he harbored ill feelings against the inhumane mistreatment and discrimination within the United States Army. Hey, listen, I'll be real with you. That shit is real. It exists. To say racism does not exist, you'd be a You're a liar, straight up, okay? Racism does exist. I do not agree with it at all. It does exist in the Army. So do all these other things. You've got, abuse, you have favoritism, you have all of these things inside the military and so much more. But I don't think he's going to put out a statement like that, and that's his reason for going over to North Korea. Because inhumane mistreatment, bro, do you even know what the fuck North Korea is? You're not going to make that statement or have that thought and then say, going to North Korea is definitely going to be a good idea. No, bro, what the hell? Inhumane treatment? That's the capital of inhumane treatment. Are you stupid? And so to finish off the whole podcast, we've got one more topic, okay? A very interesting topic. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I know people are going to have mixed feelings about this. Some people are simply not going to give a f. And then a lot of people are 100% going to give a f. Right here, it's saying another airline will soon start weighing passengers before they board. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys, this is nothing weird to me. In the military, before you board, go on an aircraft, do anything like that when you're downrange, you always get weighed, and you get weighed with all of your equipment. So same thing with being you getting on a scale, and then with your luggage. I would have to step on a scale with me and all of my gear on, and then whatever backpack or rucksack I'm taking with me, I'd also have to throw that on a scale. So that way the helicopters don't crash, okay? I don't want them to crash, because if they crash, I will die. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's an airplane, they're super strong. Yes, I get it, okay? But I don't think this is stupid. I would love to know for safety and security that they're weighing it. However, if I'm being honest, because you guys know I don't like flying, that's why I'm like, oh, I'm okay with this. Anything for more safety. It's not exactly for your safety, okay, at all, or their safety. Realistically, I think the reason they're saying in this article they're going to start weighing people is for fuel efficiency. And that is actually something I don't like, because then I'm like, what does that mean, fuel efficiency? Does that mean you're going to put less fuel in the motherfucking plane? Hell no. You better fill that up to the top. It's pointless at that point. But let me get into the article, because right here it's going to tell you how some people are feeling about this. Korean Air will be measuring the average weight of a person along with their carry-on items for in-flight safety. South Korea's primary airline, Korea Air, announced on its website. And so when I was doing my research and I was reading into this article, they did make another statement which sounded kind of weird to me, because it sounds like you may have to jump on a scale more than once. So right here it says North Korean passengers will be asked to step on scales with their carry-on items at each boarding gate. A Korean Air representative clarified on USA Today. The data collected anonymously will be utilized for surveys and purposes. This does not mean overweight passengers will need to pay more. I mean, I have no fucking idea why overweight passengers would need to pay more. Like, you're still only paying for one seat. So it really does not matter. And then we do have other statements here stating, oh, they may say it's for safety and security of their passengers, but it is strictly for fuel purposes. That's kind of like their strategy that they're going about. And so I'm like, okay, the airline's trying to get real cheap. And then again, I'm thinking about, I'm like, okay, North Korean Air, I'm sure they fly all over the place. They got to fly across the water and all this shit all the time. And I'm like, okay, maybe I guess if you want to start budgeting and making a little bit more money, it's got to be expensive, right? But the way of going about it and having people like weigh themselves at every single gate sounds a little bit weird to me. I don't think it's exactly necessary. Yeah, it's just more of a weird thing overall. And I'm sure a lot of people would not want to be consistently waiting on scales. I think I would be more frustrated at the fact of, like, you know how hard it is getting in a line at the airport just to get to your fucking gate? You know how stupid people are? Now I got to wait for 30 plus dumb motherfuckers to weigh themselves, who are also self-conscious and be like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to take off my shoe. Like, all these stupid things. I'm like, bro, shut your ass, please. I just don't want to deal with it. I do not want to spend more time at the airport than I have to. But if this ends up being a thing, it's like, okay, great. Now we got to show up to the airport like 5 hours early. But let me know down below in the comments other things going on in the news, anything that I might have missed. And feel free to argue and talk amongst each other. But until then, thanks for stopping by.